that's me again. And again, we're talking about 140 items I don't buy or own anymore. This is the part number 2. If you didn't watch the part number 1, please go watch it. To not overwhelm you with the amount of items, I split them into certain categories. I believe I came up with 6 categories. One is beauty, personal care products, and everything related to beauty. Another one is everything related to clothing. Third one is everything related to kitchen, home organization, household items, and so on. Fourth is regarding food items. Fifth category is electronics, gadgets, and anything digital. And the sixth one is just generic items that didn't fit into any of these categories. Don't forget to check the time code. In the description below, I will list what category I'm talking at what minute. So let's start. Let's start with the first category. It's anything related to personal care, beauty routines, and just taking care of my body. First one, I don't buy skin products or creams for any specific areas of your body. For example, I don't buy eye cream, hands cream, I don't know, feet cream, I don't know what else, neck cream. I don't buy these things anymore. Instead, I have 2 facial creams. One is more light, one is more nourishing for like when my skin gets dry. Then I have a body lotion that I just apply everywhere besides face. The reason I don't buy eye creams and other things, first of all, I was always forgetting to use them and they will just end up expiring. And also by just using the basic creams, I realized it's enough for my skin. Also, I don't really own any makeup removal items because I just wash my face with soap and it seems like to work for me and in my makeup routine. I also don't buy any gimmicky items like weird ones like pore minimizer, blackheads removal scrub. Those things are usually over claiming what they can actually do. They're mostly unnecessary if you do like just basic daily skincare routine. Some categories of like personal care I completely excluded. For example, I don't buy hairstyling products because I don't really style my hair. I don't care about that. Another thing that I don't own or use anymore is travel size cosmetics. Now I just taking soaps like shampoo soap and shower gel soap. And for other items, I just reuse certain jars or anything like that. Or just take my regular products, especially if I'm gonna check in my bag anyways. I usually only own 1 item in each category. For example, as I said, I have 1 lotion, 1 SPF cream, 1 sunscreen, like eyebrow pencil, 1 eyeliner, and so on. Some categories obviously have exceptions. For example, I have 2 mascaras, one is blue, one is black, but unless it was the color reasoning, I would not own 2 mascaras. I don't own any shaving creams or shaving gels because I learned long time ago you can just use regular soap. It works amazingly and you don't need to waste money and environment on creating a separate project. In terms of shaving, actually, I never use disposable razors and I can't imagine myself using them. Also, I own a epilator device, so basically it can pluck your hair and you don't need to replace any razors. The only downside of using this device is that it's really painful. So for the periods of my life when I don't want to experience any pain, I just use a razor with a reusable head. The funny part about this reusable head, I actually replace it maybe once a year. Some people believe that you have replaced it more often, but it actually works for me for replacing it only once a year. I'm considering buying safety razor at some point, but unless my current razor gonna break, I don't want to replace anything. Other things I don't buy is different beauty gadgets, like all those massage rolls, like face lifters. I don't know. There are lots of things, especially coming from AliExpress. Another thing that I don't buy anymore is conventional tampons and also pads. Instead of that, I use menstrual cup and panty liners that can be just washed and reused many times. Also, I own 2 pairs of things underwear and I really love them. Other things that I don't buy is different subscriptions for skincare products. Dollar Shaving Club, like toothpaste and a tablets that comes every month and you have to pay for subscriptions. I believe that every human being has to decide for himself when and how much items he should buy and not have something delivered to your house every month, no matter if you really need that amount or not. And another thing that these subscriptions are usually big waste of money. You can buy things in bulk much cheaper. Things that I don't buy anymore is cotton Q-tips and also cotton pads, the ones for makeup remover or applying, I don't know, some toner or anything. The reason I don't buy them anymore because first of all, we bought them maybe 2 years ago, like in a bulk, and we still own them. And since we don't really use them a lot, we still have them. And second thing, as soon as we're gonna run out of those things, but it's gonna probably take us another year, I probably go for reusable items. You can get reusable cotton pads, and also you can buy silicone or metal Q-tip that you can just reuse instead having these little plasticky ones that just go to waste and end up in the ocean. My next category is related to wardrobe, so it's any apparel, accessories, jewelry, I don't know, clothing items that I don't buy or own anymore. Things that I don't buy or don't own anymore, it's like free merch, free like t-shirts, you know, like when you go to some event or you buy something and they give you a free t-shirt. I never take it. I usually refuse it because they just create more waste. Plus they usually cheaply made, low quality polyester and ugly design, so most people don't really wear them. I also try not to buy anything in the fast fashion. That's a separate story, and I will link a cool video about fast fashion and why fast fashion is really bad for us. It was done by Amy from Sustainable Vegan, and another video is from Justine. They actually explain why fast fashion items are not good for you, for the planet, and also for your budget as well, because those items usually don't last long. And if you buy less things and just invest in the high quality items, yeah, first time you buy it, you have to invest in it to pay a little bit more, but eventually this thing will last you longer. Also, in terms of fabrics, for the last couple of years, I really avoid cheap, low quality polyester fabrics or any synthetic fabrics. I mean, I still own things that are synthetic, especially if it's like sport items or sport equipment. But if it's something like a t-shirt or a sweater or pants, I try to get natural materials like linen, hemp, or things like tencel and organic cotton. You can actually buy these things not very expensively. I stopped buying uncomfortable shoes, including any like high heels and stuff like that. For your back health, it's so important to wear right shoes. So now I'm only investing in high quality shoes. And usually I try not to have more than one or maybe two shoes in each category. In terms of number of shoes I own, I minimized the amount of shoes I own. Now I probably own less than 10 pairs of different type of shoes. And I only buy new shoes when the old ones completely rip or are unwearable anymore. So this allowed me to actually allocate more money and invest into more expensive, more high quality brands, which shoes gonna be more long lasting and more comfortable. In general, one of my principles, I don't constantly update my wardrobes. I also don't follow any fashion trends and so on. So if something is trendy and everyone is buying it, I would not buy it unless I need something similar and unless I really like this type of fashion. So I don't have this idea that, oh, it's a springtime, it's time to buy something new. I need to buy something for autumn or for summer. If it's like Christmas time coming, I'm not gonna buy a special outfit for Christmas party. I'm not gonna buy this ugly sweater or anything like that. I will just wear whatever I have already. Also, I don't buy any sales items. So if somebody is on sale, I would not just go there and think like, oh my God, so cheap, it's on sale, I should get it. I don't buy in general things that I don't really need, and I try not to go to to the shopping malls or any stores or even like online stores unless I really need something. Obviously, it doesn't mean that I avoid sales. So if I'm looking for certain things, like I like to buy things from Patagonia, but usually those things are very expensive. So for those items, of course, I would wait until Patagonia does a sale so I can buy this item with some discount. I only buy things that I really need. So if I need a new jacket, I will buy it. If I have a raincoat, I don't need a second one. So I try to, for like certain types of items, only own one thing. So basically I have only one pair of running shoes. I have one hiking jacket. I have one pair of hiking boots and so on. I also don't buy any luxury brands or just any like, I don't know, fancy, expensive designer brands. I don't own anything and I don't buy anything. I don't buy any items that I only gonna wear once, so be it like formal wear or special occasion wear. Even when I was buying my wedding dress, I was actually looking for a dress that I could reuse later. It just turned out that this dress was completely uncomfortable, and in the future I'll need another like formal wear or like a fancy dress for any occasion. I would just rent one or borrow from my friends. Also, I don't buy any any vacation clothes. It's hard to explain, but you know, like sometimes when people traveling to some like especially beach type of holidays, they would buy a bunch of bikinis, they would buy some pareos, some, I don't know, some like random things that they only gonna wear during this like 10 days of holidays. I don't buy these things. I don't buy anything that I'm not gonna be wearing in a normal life. For example, a couple of months ago, I went to India, and although I needed to buy certain clothes that I can wear there, every item I got, I can still wear them here in California. Other things that I don't really buy anymore is like bags and purses. So I have one backpack, one fanny bag, one like tiny bag that I can wear with a dress, and one like, I don't know, formal bag. And I don't think I will be buying any purse or bag anytime soon. The same goes to any type of apparel, to accessories like belts, I don't know, like some decor, I don't know, jewelry as well. I don't really buy these items anymore. Like if I would find something that I truly like and I know that I'm going to be wearing it a lot, I would still buy it. But in general, I think I own less than 20 pieces of jewelry and accessories in my wardrobe. Another thing that I don't buy anymore, I heard this term from one of the YouTubers, it's called fantasy me. So I'm not buying any fantasy me outfits. What does it mean, fantasy me? It's something that you think you would be wearing or would be cool for you to wear, but it's something that you wouldn't really be wearing. For example, it's like a formal skirt or a formal shirt, and you think like, oh, maybe one day I'm gonna wear it. But in general, your lifestyle is like sporty and very like, I don't know, simple. In terms of some fitness and yoga pants, I try not to buy too many. I see sometimes that people post on their Instagrams like every day a new fitness outfit. I probably own 3 pair of leggings and maybe some like sport shorts, and I'm the person who's doing yoga, biking and other sports. I don't really buy a lot of stuff. One thing that I don't buy anymore, I don't buy any t-shirts. I just use regular t-shirts. So pants, yeah, you kind of want some sport pants, but for t-shirts you can just use regular cotton t-shirts. In terms of any outfits that I need to do certain sports, I only buy those outfits if I'm gonna do this sport more than once a year. So if I do hiking 2-3 times a week, then I have some hiking outfits. If I do surfing like several times a week, I would get some surfing outfit. But for things like snowboarding that I would probably go once a year or even less, I would never buy outfit. I would just rent it or borrow from a friend. Yeah, I knew this video gonna be long. I'm already drinking 3rd cup of tea or something like that. Let's continue. If you talk about kitchen, I never buy any sets, you know, like kitchen knife set or pots and pans set, or I don't know, cutlery set. The reason I don't buy it because we are a family of 2. So if you buy a set of plates or set of cutlery, we're not going to use all of them. It's just impractical. Plus, for example, the set would have tablespoons. We don't even use tablespoons. We use this, I don't know, Asian spoons for the soup, and apart from that, we don't use them at all. In terms of knives, if you buy a set of knives, you're probably gonna get more knives than you actually need. When I started cooking a lot, I remember I got 1 chef's knives and 1 paring knife, and for a couple of years it was more than enough for me to go with these 2 items. Usually if you get a set of knives, you just get random stuff that you're not gonna use, and also you're gonna pay more in the end, because sets usually either contain useless items or they contain cheaper items than if you buy less items but better quality. The same also goes to containers, you know, these sets that have different size containers, and especially if these containers have different lids, you're gonna have so much time trying to match these lids. What I try to do now, I try to buy more or less uniform containers, and they have to have the same type of lid, so it's much easier. If one lids get lost or one container gets broken, I can still reuse the lids. But I would never buy those sets that have different sizes of containers. In terms of containers, I don't buy anymore any like cheap, crappy containers in something like dollar store, because those containers don't last long, and you're just better off reusing some containers that you get from food, or reusing some containers from like, you know, like takeaways, instead of buying those cheapest. If I buy containers, and I bought a few containers in the past, I either buy glass containers with high quality lid. For example, I like the ones from IKEA, they actually last me long. Or I buy this type of containers that I bought actually in the outlet. So it's a porcelain bowl that I can use for salads and food that has a lid to it. And this is like a great way to multi-purpose this thing. And also I use lots of silicone bags, like instead of containers, and this is a great way. Just in general, if I need to store something, I will just put it in a bowl and cover it with a plate, and you don't even need containers most of the time. In general, for the kitchen, I try to avoid buy any plastic items. I choose either wooden items or metal items or silicone. For example, for cutting boards, I choose only wood. For like some spatulas and like other things, I use high quality, high grade silicone, and other things they're either glass or metal. Another funny things I don't buy, but I think lots of people actually buy here in America, is mason jar. I am the person who doesn't own a single mason jar. To drink water, I just use regular glasses. To store some things, I just reuse the jars from things I buy. Like I would buy some pickles or some canned vegetables, in a glass jar and just reuse it. Also, I don't buy things for the kitchen that actually have great eco-friendly alternatives. So these are the items, like I don't buy Ziplocs anymore. Instead, I bought several silicone bags and I reuse them. I don't buy any sandwich bags or like things like that. I just reuse any bags that we buy snacks in, or I just use the stasher bags or any silicone bags for snacks and sandwiches. I don't buy plastic straws. I have glass and metal straws. I don't buy saran wrap anymore. I either use containers or beeswax wrap. I don't buy any parchment paper. I just bake without it. I just know how to grease. Other things that have alternatives, I would never buy trash bags, because you can just reuse like plastic bags that come into your house, because if you buy tortillas, they're going to be probably in a plastic bag, so you can just reuse that. Or you can reuse junk newspapers and create a certain box for you to contain your trash, and you will just have to throw away it more often. Also, I don't buy things like napkins or paper towels. I just have like cloth and I just wash it. Also, we never buy a disposable plastic and paper plates, cups and utensils, the ones you use for the party or the ones you use for picnics. I just use regular plates, or if I need something for the camping, I will just buy the silicone ones that you can actually wash. I don't buy any cookbooks, but I used to buy them because they usually have such beautiful pictures, but I realized that most of the time you buy the cookbook just because you feel like cooking, but you don't cook that particular recipes. You're probably gonna just Google everything anyways. I don't buy any non-essential kitchen gadgets, especially the gadgets that only serve one purpose. Things that I truly hate are something like banana cutter. Seriously, you can't cut a banana, or like avocado cutter. Like these things are just such a waste of money, unless you are a restaurant that cuts like, I don't know, bags of bananas every day. Like you don't need those things. And also I don't buy things that I don't really need. For example, we don't use microwave, so we never bought one. We don't have a standing blender because we don't do smoothies or things like that. Other non-essential items like sandwich press, pancake maker, those things I don't buy because usually you can just use a stove. In terms of cleaning, I don't have much cleaning supplies, and I usually have one all-purpose cleaner, so I would never buy separate cleaner for this surface and then for the other surface for the other area. So basically we have one toilet cleaner, one all-purpose cleaner, and also sometimes I will make some homemade spray with oranges, vinegar and water, and that's my spraying solution. I don't buy synthetic sponges. I use like more like eco-friendly alternatives. Also, I don't buy things like air freshener, either for the car or for the house or for the toilet, because first of all, those things don't really smell good. They're synthetic, and also they're just a waste of packaging and resources. If I want my house to smell nice, I usually use incense sticks or like essential oils. Also, when I do laundry, I never use like fabric softeners or some like sprays to spray your things so it sprays so it smells nice. We just usually don't do this. We just use regular laundry detergents, and that's it. Item that I don't own anymore, it's iron. I don't iron any clothes, and usually when I buy something, I always look into it in terms of, do I need to iron it? But my experience shows if you wash something and then you hang dry it, usually you don't need to iron anything. In the country where I'm from, every person in the house owns an iron, and for example, my mom would iron anything, even underwear and socks and bed sheets. And of course, when I grew up in this culture, I was also thinking that I need to iron things. But thanks to the fact that I'm lazy, I'm not doing this anymore, and it saves me so much time. Other thing that I don't buy any organizational items, dividers, like a complicated shelf organization system. If you're not a highly organized person, you're probably gonna organize it in the beginning, and then it will be the whole mess inside your organization system. As I already said in my video about KonMari method, I just reuse the boxes. It's cheap. Plus, if I don't need this box anymore, it doesn't make sense anymore, I just throw it away without being guilty about it. Other things I don't buy for the house is like some little trinkets and cheap decor, especially low quality plastic decor. So if I buy something for the house, I try to make sure it's like wooden or metal or glass, or like if it's something made from plastic, it's something that I really truly need, something that sparks joy and something I'm gonna keep for longer. In terms of decor, for example, I don't buy things like vases. I just reuse old bottles and jars, and for somebody it might look like it's like trashy, but if your whole house is nice and organized, usually those jars actually look really cool. Also, what I don't buy for the house is cute mugs, like some mugs with some funny, I don't know, print. Another thing I don't buy, and I think this thing is really hideous, is fake plants. No matter how high quality is the fake plant, first of all, it just collects dust and most people don't even wash them, and it's just a dust collector inside the house. And second, if you're the person who forgets to water your plants or your house doesn't have enough light, you can always go and find low maintenance plant, like something like snake plant, something like Bella, palm, something like pothos, something like even monstera doesn't require too much stuff, like ZZ plant. There are so many plants that you can actually almost forget about them. And they are so much better because the plants, they actually purifying the air in your apartment instead of these plasticky plants that don't do nothing for you, probably exert some toxins if it's some cheap crap. Okay, let's talk about food-related items. Obviously, you can talk about many things in terms of food, but here it's more for me like how to be more budget-friendly, how to be eco-friendly, and principles based on that. For example, what I don't buy in terms of food. I don't buy bottled water. I mean, it's obvious. Also, I drink a lot of tea, so I don't buy any tea bags or packaged tea. I usually just buy leaves in bulk. First of all, it's better quality, and second, it's actually more eco-friendly. Also, I don't buy things like kombucha. In rare instances, I would buy it, but I just make my own kombucha because it saves me so much money, and also in terms of packaging, every time you buy a bottle, you're just going to throw it away. Other drinks, if I have to buy something like some drink, I look for more eco-friendly packaging. For example, instead of plastic bottles, I would usually choose either aluminum or glass containers, or if I choose plastic, at least I make sure that this packaging is recyclable. Also, in terms of drinks, I try not to buy any juices in cartons or even in bottles. Like my husband likes juices, especially he likes this Odvala or Naked. They're they're produced here in California, and they're supposed to be more or less natural, but I still hate it because it's lots of unnecessary packaging. Things that I don't buy, it's pre-cut vegetables. So if anything is prepared, pre-cut, even salads or anything, that means it's a lot of unnecessary plastic packaging, and also it's usually more expensive. Also, for example, I don't use any canned food a lot. I would just buy dry chickpeas and just boil them and make it because it's cheaper this way. If I make something with beans, I would always use dry beans and just cook it. I never buy canned beans. First of all, it's much tastier if you do it from scratch, and second, they add lots of unnecessary ingredients to the canned food. I don't really buy frozen foods or pre-cooked foods because again they have lots of unnecessary chemicals, as every processed food does. I try to cook at home because it's much cheaper as well and much healthier. I understand lots of people don't know how to cook, and not everyone can time-wise, cook at home, but if you have some extra time, you are better off cooking your own food because it's going to save you a ton of money. That's what we do. We don't go out, we mostly cook at home, and it saves us a lot of money. Another thing that I don't buy any pre-mixed, I don't know how to call it, mixes, for example, pancakes mix, muffin mix, bread mix. If I want to cook something and bake, I prefer just make everything from scratch because it's gonna be more natural, more healthier, more wholesome, and probably cheaper. If I want to buy something half made for me, I better just buy a completely cooked one. Another thing I don't buy, and I mentioned it in my food waste video, I don't buy perfect produce. So when I go to the store, I try first of all to avoid any packaged food and also any foods that looks beautiful. I try to buy the ugly ones or the ones are on sale. Other things I don't buy any multivitamins because there is a lot of research that says that multivitamins don't work. It's just waste of money. Also, I don't really buy any superfoods. People who are into healthy living, they like these goji berries, chia seeds and other things, and they are usually very expensive. I don't really buy them because I don't believe in and what they do. Obviously, I still eat certain things like quinoa, but we eat it not because we believe in some magical qualities of quinoa, but just because we like the taste and it's nice to eat something else instead of rice like once in a while. I don't buy any like detoxing foods and things like that because I don't believe in detox. I don't believe in something like healthy, slimming, doing whatever, because I think if you just in general move a lot, have some physical exercise every day or at least every other day, at least like walk your dog for an hour or something. Also, if you eat good homemade wholesome food, you don't need any detoxings or any other bullshits. Other things I don't eat at the same time, I don't eat any cheap fast food. So KFC, McDonald's, like cheap pizzas, like Domino pizzas, I don't eat there because it's unhealthy, it doesn't taste good, and I better like cook at home some rice and veggies instead of eating those things. Also, I don't buy anything that has palm oil as ingredient. Of course, sometimes I can miss out and buy something. Most of the time I try to check the packaging because the palm oil is not very sustainable the way how it's sourced, and I don't want to support any industries that are doing that. Things I don't buy any condiments or any like things for your recipe for cooking that I only gonna use once. So if I look at the recipe and it has like some random stuff in it and I know I'm not gonna use it later, I will just discard this recipe or look for substitutes. Lots of stuff has substitutes. For example, we were cooking this banana bread and the recipe called for Crisco, and I was like, I don't want to buy Crisco, so I looked for the substitutes and just substituted with butter. In terms of food, I try to buy what's seasonal and also what's local. So I try to avoid any imported food. So let's say I live in California and I don't know, they sell some random fruits that grow like across the planet somewhere in Indonesia. I would not buy it here. When I go to Indonesia, I better just eat there. In terms of other items like non-produced, like if I buy some cheese or butter, I also look for local like companies. So basically, I don't want to buy anything that was delivered from other state if I can buy something local that was made in my state or even in my county. Also, I don't buy certain fruits or vegetables in organic section because they don't need to be organic. Certain foods like avocados, like broccolis, what else, onions, corn and other things, based on research, those foods, even when they're non-organic, they're not much worse than organic ones. So it's basically just waste of money. So certain things, they're good to be organic, but most of the time it doesn't matter, so just don't pay extra. Well, let's talk about gadgets and digital items. I have like almost 30 items. Well, I already mentioned the Black Friday in my other section, so here I will say as well, I don't buy things on Cyber Monday just for sake of buying. I never pay for my cloud storage. You know, like you can get Dropbox or Google Drive or Apple gives you some iCloud, and sometimes they tell you, oh, you ran out of space, just pay for it. And if I run out of space, that means I need to get rid of things. And if one storage is not enough, you can have several. So I have iCloud, I have Google Drive, and I have Dropbox, and I have spread my files between 3 services. There is a certain logic, you know, what kind of files I keep on iCloud, what kind of files I keep on Dropbox, and the same for Google Drive. Other thing that I would never buy, it's like new version of tech, you know, like thing like, oh my God, new iPhone just came out, I need a new one. But I haven't done it for so many years. I'm so glad. I just use my phone unless I either break it or unless it gets completely old or, I don't know, the camera gets fucked up or something. But before that, I will never change my phone, and the same is related to other gadgets. For example, the camera I'm using to record this video, I bought it long time ago, and I don't think I will be changing it anytime soon unless I drop it and it breaks like it happened to my previous camera. In terms of electronics and other gadgets, including like kitchen gadgets or any like home appliances, I try not to buy new ones. So my phone, my iPad, I don't know, like my instant cooker, my bread maker, like I don't know what else we have in the house. We always buy things secondhand. And the great thing, if you buy something really cheap, when if you feel you don't need it anymore, you can just resell it and just get your money back. One more thing that I never buy, and I'm surprised people still buy it, it's some extended warranty. Like Apple warranty. My friend told me she pays like $6 or $9 every month for extended Apple care. I'm like, wait a minute, you're just wasting money. I don't buy any any no-name like chargers, cables, and so on. So if I buy a new charger or a cable, I look for the ones that are certified for this particular brand, because the cheap ones, yeah, they're cheap, but they usually break or stop working quite soon. But if it's something that's certified, those things last longer. I remember when I bought my first power bank, I bought it from AliExpress. I think it broke in a year. My second power bank, I was like, you know what? I do my research. So I did my research. I spent like hours reading about this stuff, and I ordered this power bank in 2015. And you know, it still works for me. It still has lots of charging volume. Like another thing I don't buy in terms of gadgets and electronics, and actually other items as well, I don't buy any cheap stuff. For example, if I need to buy a new microphone or something, I will buy a brand one. If I can't afford a brand one, I will just buy secondhand. If I need to buy a new tripod, I would go with high quality tripods instead of buying this cheap Chinese crap that's gonna break in a week. I had a tripod from Manfrotto from 2005 until 2018. All these years I had the same tripod. Yeah, I paid a lot when I bought it, but judging how many years it lasted me compared to Chinese ones, I know my friends, they would replace tripods every 2-3 years, sometimes even more often. Another thing that I, at the same time, I don't buy any tech based on YouTube reviews. I used to watch YouTube reviews and people would rave about something, and I was like, yes, I should get it. But now I understand that lots of people are paid to do those reviews, or people sometimes review things on YouTube so they get commission, or they just send these things for free and they're doing like, oh, I'm doing unboxing, let me tell you how I like this item. But most of the time, if you unbox this item and only use it for a week, you have no idea about advantages and disadvantages of this item. But also, I never buy some like trendy tech, you know, like things like Apple Watch, like Fitbits, and like other like items. I don't have it. I don't feel like I need it. Even iPad, like this one. This is my first iPad, and I got it as a gift for this Christmas. I never owned a like iPad before, because I knew I didn't need it. Now like I do need it, but before I just didn't. So another thing I don't buy any non-rechargeable batteries. So the battery that you use once and throw away, I don't have this anymore. I use batteries for some of my gadgets. So I bought the ones I can charge. I have a charger, and that's what I use for the last, I don't know how many years. I didn't even need to replace these batteries. Also, in terms of phone cases, I used to be the person who would buy a new phone case every other month, but now I understand such a waste of money. So now I have like one phone case, and I'm gonna use it until it rips or something happens to it, or if I replace a phone, I need to replace the phone case. Actually, next time I buy a phone case, I would probably even go for Pella, especially if they have sales, because the original price is a little bit expensive, but recently they were selling their phone cases for much cheaper. I mean, it's still expensive, but at least it's a good cause. What else I don't have in terms of digital items? I don't have any cable subscription. I don't have any Hulu. I don't know what else people have. That some people pay up to $200 a month for subscriptions. I don't know. Do these people understand that they waste so much money? I never had any TV subscription in my life, so I guess I saved myself lots of money. I don't buy any electronic books or audio book subscriptions like Audible and stuff like that. I used to buy it before, but I don't do it anymore because I just use library, and library is for free. And in case you didn't know, but in library you can borrow electronic books for your Kindle or audio books for free. You don't even need to go to the library. You just do it through the app, either Hoopla app or Libby. What else I don't have? I don't have Amazon Prime subscription anymore, and I'm super glad I don't have it. Also, I try to be very mindful about my subscription. So I do have some services that I use as subscription, but I choose them carefully and I make sure I really utilize the service. I actually use the app. It's called Truebill, that tells you what subscriptions you're paying for, and they even help you unsubscribe or like cancel the subscription if you don't need it anymore. I often actually utilize free trials, but I always have a little reminder on my phone to cancel this. Or if I pay with PayPal, you can actually go to your PayPal account and cancel this subscription. So for example, how I do it, I sign up for some free trial. I have to basically put my PayPal credentials. They accept everything. And then immediately after that, I go and cancel it. But your free trial is still gonna work, but the company won't be able to charge your PayPal. Another thing I don't buy, it's different games apps. Like you can even have a free game, but then you have to buy little like trinkets inside this game. I don't do this anymore. I actually was guilty once. You remember this? I don't know if you played this game. There was where you can raise monsters and they're singing. I was even guilty to pay some money to breed some rare monster, but this was like maybe 5 years ago. I don't do this anymore. It's like really stupid. Well, I hope you found this video interesting and my crazy list of items as well. Don't forget that this video consists of 2 parts, so if you are watching this part, there is another part and I will link it down below and somewhere here as well. Also check out my other videos on the channel. I talk about minimalism, anti-consumerism, eco-friendly habits on the budget, and other things related to all that. See you in my next video. Bye bye.